Hello, everybody, and welcome to Realty Success. So excited to have everybody join us today. We've got a really interesting show. We've got joining us Ashley Glinka and George Rhea, and they're with a company called Critical Threat. And they're going to talk about being aware of your situation to stay safe as a realtor out in the field. George, Ashley, if you'll introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your company, Critical Threat.
Hi, so I'm Ashley Glinka. I have over 15 years in the safety industry. Prior to now working with Critical Threat, I was Federal Air Marshal for almost 10 years, flying domestic and international missions. During that time, I also worked in our investigation unit, working at the Terrorist Screening Center with the White House, and I specialize in situational intelligence and behavior detection.
I'm George. I've spent about 30 years in military through DoD and with DHS, and I specialize in behavioral detection, investigations, and situational intelligence surveillances.
Let's say we're in a situation where you're showing a home, someone unexpected comes in the home, but they say, you know what, we're just going to stick around. I need to use the restroom. So you go show the house, I'm going to use the restroom. And they kind of don't follow your lead and leave, and they insist upon staying. What would you do in a situation like that?
The advice I would give would be you'd have to have some sort of policies or procedures set up within your organization. So your organization may say that, hey, look, you know what you're supposed to do is take the clients that you have and exit the house. The people that are in there already, they've already established the fact that they don't want to follow directions, they don't want to listen to you or whatever. So you take the people that need to be safe and you move them out of the situation. And then if your policy within your office says call the local police and have them come over or whatever, to maybe just have them come over and they say they want to take a look inside the house to make those people uncomfortable and make them want to leave. Or if it's just that you're supposed to move everybody out of the house and then wait for those people to leave or something. Having a plan in place is where it all starts. And that's figuring out like what is the procedure going to be, like how you were saying with the red file, right? Having that plan is what saves people. So if you have an idea of what you want to do, then you just move. The biggest thing is to move the safe people that need to be safe out of the situation.
There are very few situations where I will put my car in a driveway. I try to park along the street unless it's an excessively long driveway. Then I try to position it where I can get out and encourage my clients to do that if we're driving separately to try and have that situational awareness. So I think that's probably key in a situation like that, right? Like try not to put yourself in a position or your clients in a position where if there's any way that you can avoid that getting blocked in.
Yeah, I mean, if you can know your area before you get there, if it's a roundabout driveway with 2 exits, then it'd be easier to pull in the driveway. If you don't, you definitely don't want to put yourself in a position where your only ingress and egress or exit and entry is blocked. So right. If you can avoid that, like you were saying, that's a great idea. Knowing where you're going before you get there, whether or not it's through Google Maps, Google Earth, or whatever it might be, some sort of imagery. If you can look at it and figure out how do you approach the house? Is there an alleyway behind it that somebody could come up to the back of the house or something like that? Knowing that location before you get there will give you that advantage.
Yeah, and I think, like George said with that, even just being proactive and knowing your houses, like you guys naturally kind of know the feel of most neighborhoods that you're going into. So like knowing the crime stats, having seen the house and the property on that Google Maps and being able to look at it, having a plan in place in your mind for how am I going to get in and out of here. If it's in a dead location for cell phones, what could be those risks, and kind of thinking of how you can mitigate that in your mind before you even start. Is the area blocked in by trees? Is it a very dark wooded area? Is there no cell phone location there? Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to tell them that I'm going here. I should be out in 10 minutes, and kind of working that too.
I think if you go even further, you could create a good relationship with law enforcement in the area. If it's going to one of those places like a warehouse where you're going to be by yourself, or one of those houses that's in the middle of nowhere that, it's going to be towards the evening or something, maybe it might get a little bit dark while you're showing and you need to leave or whatever, just reaching out to them and saying, hey, look, I'm going to be over here at this house showing it between these hours. Do you guys have anything that I need to know about? If there have been any crimes in that area at that time or whatever, creating that relationship with law enforcement could be a big help.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great. That's
Super
great.
smart.
That proactive advice. When I first got into real estate, you do all sorts of things to try and get business going. And I worked at a model home in a new construction neighborhood, and they had great policies in place. Different people within the organization would stop by the model home periodically to check, make sure everything was okay. The foreman, different folks. So they had a plan in place to try and prevent situations that were unsafe from happening. So being proactive, I think that's great advice. And we really appreciate you sharing that with us. Ashley, you said that you've got some information that you can put together to help realtors, real estate offices be more aware of the safety issues.
Yeah. So we'll have a downloadable for you guys that will include
Great.
some, like, monthly topics that you can talk about, and I'll make sure to throw in. We have a Kim's game like diagram that you can use for that meeting if you want. So that will
Yeah,
be
great. And we'll put that in the show notes. This has been a great topic, and we appreciate everybody being here. We hope you all stay safe, and we'll see you guys here again next week. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
you.
Thank you.
much. That
Thank
was
you,
so
guys.
insightful.
Thank you.